Hello folks, it's Gordon here, hope all is well with you. This video I've called Tartan Army of One, and it's to do with football and the past, because last night I was watching Scotland against England up at Hampden, and it was a friendly match between the two to mark 150 years this year of the first game between them, and it is the oldest fixture in international football, the first international football fixture between Scotland and England 150 years ago. So they had a friendly last night in Scotland, which England won 3-1. And the other day, recently, more than the other day, but recently, I was out with a group of friends. I know, hard to believe. And we were chatting. One of them had their 30th birthday coming up. And I asked if she was doing anything fancy. And it made me, I tried to think what I was doing on my 30th birthday. And I couldn't remember. My mind went blank. And one of the other friends said, weren't you a blue coat then? And it suddenly came back to me. I was working as a blue coat in Torquay. A blue coat for Pontins in Torquay on my 30th birthday. And I'd kept it quiet and someone leaked it. And one of the other blue coats said to me, is it your birthday today? I said, might be. They said, are you 30? I said, might be. And at the time I was sitting in one of those ball pools with a load of little kids around me. What a memory, it was like a lifetime ago. A long time ago. And the reason I'm talking about that in relation to the Scotland-England match is because this was in 1996. And the European Championships were being held in England, and England-Scotland was one of the matches. And I remember watching that match in a pub in Torquay with a Scottish man. Now, this Scotsman was called Clark, and he was in one of the bands, one of the resident bands. The site where I was at, Pontins, had a resident band that did the backdoor the acts and did the dancing in the evening, and then there was a duo band which did some of the different bars and sometimes would back the acts. And Clark, this man, was half of the duo. 1+1, the duo was called. Proud Scotsman. And he said, let's go down, and we were both had a time off. Let's go down into Torquay and watch the match in a pub, which we did. And he had had a Scotland shirt on. And there weren't many Scots people in Torquay in the summer of 1996. And we walked into the pub, and I think he was the only Scotsman there. Come on, Scotland, he was shouting. I thought, we're not going to make it out alive. Well, he might not. I was okay. And it was great. And when England scored back then, this is what happened in the pub. All the drinks went up in the air. We were stood a bit further back. There was this sort of tide of alcohol that goes up in the air whenever England score. Must be horrific for the landlords and horrible if you're just sitting there for a quiet pint. Although why you'd be sitting there for a quiet pint when there's an England-Scotland match on? Maybe that's your fault. But anyway, all the beer went up in the air. And Clark shouted out, bastards! Quite loudly. And I thought, yeah, I'm not sure you really want to be drawing too much attention to yourself as a Scotsman, his Scotch shirt as it is. But shouting out, bastards! And then, I thought that might have been enough. But he then went on, you're all bastards. Now, was he talking about the England team? Or maybe he was talking to the Scotland team? Or it might have come across that he was talking to all of the England fans in the pub. You're all bastards, shouted out at high volume in a Scotland shirt. Now, I was like this. Is that a wise move? But to be honest, he was a jovial type of, I say jovial type of Scotsman. I don't know if you know what I mean when I say that. He was friendly, and it was all about the banter. There was no aggressive or nastiness, no sort of hint of violence. It was all banter and jolly. So he got away with it, got away with murder. Because I thought he might have been on the end of some murder had some of the England fans taken umbrage to a Scotsman shouting out, "You're all bastards." Anyway, that made me laugh. I was thinking of it last night, watching the friendly between Scotland and England to mark 150 years of the first fixture in international football. And it reminded me of what I was doing on my 30th birthday, which seems a lifetime ago, seems like a different person. I was having a mad, passionate affair with an 18-year-old singer, Bluecoat, at the time as well. God dear. And I'm tempted to use the expression, if I'd have known then what I know now. Because who knows what will be happening in another 30 years. Well, hang on, it wasn't 30 years ago. It was when I was 30. It was nearly 30 years ago. God dear, oh dear. Makes me feel old, but also makes me realise, in the big scheme of things, I'm still quite young at the same time. So anyway, let me know, what were you doing on your 30th birthday? And do you ever watch football? Have you ever watched the England-Scotland games? I remember watching the old home internationals in the 70s and nudging into the 80s, when Scotland, England, Northern Ireland and Wales would all play each other every year. That sort of fizzled out after in the 80s. But the Scotland-England match always has a certain something to it. The old enemy, they call each other. And I remember watching the England-Scotland games as far back as the 1970s. Okay, signing off for now. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below wherever you happen to be seeing this video. Wishing you as ever health and happiness, and I'll speak to you again soon.